Product photography really is the key to successfully selling your handmade goods online, but it can be a real struggle. Today, I want to address one element of that, and that is the types of photos that you should have in your shop. So often I see people with just like one or two types of photos, and they really don't show off their work to their best ability. Today's video, I'm going to share 7 types of photos that you could possibly have and would be a really good idea to have in your shop to really show off your work and let people in to your life, to know more about you and your work, and to get a better feel for your business and what it's all about, and to get a really clear picture of what it is that they're thinking about buying. G'day there, my name is Jess Van Den. If you are new to this channel, I do videos all about how to have a thriving and profitable handmade business. I've had my own since 2008. It is called Epheriell, and since 2010 I've been fully self-employed. Since 2013 I've been helping other makers like you and me become successful via my blog, podcast, YouTube channel, membership site and courses. And you can find all of that over at createandthrive.com if you want to find out more. Let's get into today's video. Okay, before I dive in, I just want to give a shout out that this is only a little part of what I'm actually going to be covering in an upcoming live workshop inside the Thriver Circle, my membership community for makers. You can find out more about that over at thrivercircle.com. I'm going to be doing a big live workshop on steps to improve your product photography. And today, this is one little thing you can do to make your products become more alive to your potential customers. So that's happening at the end of May 2020, and if you're too late, don't worry, you can still watch a replay when you become a member of the circle. Okay, so let's dive into these 7 types of photos that I recommend you consider having for each of your products. Now, it sounds like a lot, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of work to put it together. But if you follow other advice of mine, and that is that, generally speaking, if you're selling online, you're going to have reproducible products. What that means is you make one product once, you photograph it, you list it, and then you just make that same product over and over again. Not to say that you can't have one of a kind, but if you do have one of a kind, they need to be very highly priced in order to be profitable because of all the other work that comes along with selling online. Most people who are successful have some sort of reproducible model. So that means you're going to have to go through the work and the pain just once to get these awesome photos of your work, and you can keep using those photos for years and years and years to come. So it's really worth putting in the work to get it right first time. Okay, so the first type of image you want is a studio or main product shot. This is probably the one you're most familiar with, where you have your product on some sort of plain background and it's just trying to show the product in full. So you want to make sure that the product is the star of the show. You want your background to be simple and not detract from the product. It does not have to be a white background. It just has to be a background that doesn't detract from the product, doesn't distract from the product. And you really want to avoid having too much styling in this photo. You really just want it to be plain background, your product in full, boom. This is basically what people are looking at. So this is an obvious one, but a very important one to get right, because generally speaking, it's going to be the first photo that people see of your piece. So you want it to be clear and crisp and beautiful and well lit and a nice angle that shows off your product in its best light. Okay, number 2 is a scale photo. This is a really important photo because people often don't read measurements, or if they do, they just don't quite get it in their head as to the size of the item. You need to show a photo that puts the item in some sort of perspective so that people instinctively understand how big it is or how small it is. So there are lots of ways you can do this. You can photograph your item alongside other common household items. If it's a small item like jewelry, you can put it in your palm or in your hand or wear it and take a photo. You can also put it on a wall if it's a painting. Yeah, so generally speaking, if you use like a person or a person's hand, I know that's variable, but it gives people a general idea, or a couch or a book or something. Again, all of these things are somewhat variable, but it gives people some sort of sense of the scale, and it stops you getting those emails, I thought it was going to be bigger or smaller than it actually is. So this is a really important shot to have. This can go along with being the model shot as well, or lifestyle shot, which we'll talk about in a minute. So you can kind of get a 2-for-1 here in the same photo. if you want to. So the third one is a detail shot. You know, how your main photo might have been a little bit further away from the product because you're trying to show the whole thing, but if it has interesting details, like lovely pretty details, you want to get in there and show those. So some examples, you know, of a necklace, you might want to get right up in one part of the design. A bag, you might want to show the inside of the bag to show, you know, what you've done in there. There's lots of different examples of this, but basically a detail shot. If you're making something out of fabric, then you might want to you know, zoom in and show the fabric detail so people can get a really nice sense of what that might feel like. Whatever it might be with your product, I'm sure there's something that you can zoom in on and show a nice clear detail. If there's artwork, you know, a part of the artwork to show it. This is a really nice way of showing the quality of your work by showing that close-up of it. So number four is a lifestyle shot. And like I said, this can often be the same as the scale shot. You can kind of have a 2-for-1 here because you want to show your item in its natural environment. So a cushion on a couch, a piece of art on a shelf or on the wall, jewelry on a person, a mug being held or a mug in the kitchen. Whatever your item is, you want to show it in its natural environment, the same place where your customer will put it in their life, because this just gives it a sense, of life and warmth, and people can relate to it, especially if the branding around that is in the same style as your item. So for example, if you're making really rustic ceramics, you probably don't want to put it in a really super modern kitchen. It'd probably look better in, you know, a more rustic style kitchen. Same with the clothing. Like if you're making like simple minimalist jewelry like I do, you don't want to be photographing that on somebody like wearing a rockabilly style or something. Like it won't match, right? So you want to make sure that that item is being photographed in an environment that matches the style of the item, the brand of your shop, and therefore probably the style of your customer. So they can see that and go, ooh, that'll look really good in my life. Number 5 is a group shot. So you can take a photo of a group of the same item or a group of complementary items. Like you might have, say, a mug in lots of different colors. That'd be great. Or you might want to take a shot of a collection. So you've got a set of ceramicware. Staying on the ceramics, you might have a matching or complementary mug and a plate and a bowl. So you can take a photo of all of those together and pop that in there as well. This is really good, again, at showing context. It's a great way of showing the other work that you do while you've got the customer in there on that particular product. It's also an awesome way to upsell or cross-sell your other products, because, you know, like the person's come along for the mug, they really love it, and then they see, you know, the photo of the bowl and the plate, and they're like, oh wow, maybe I'll just get a whole set because I really love your style. So having a group photo is a really great idea for that reason. Number 6 is a photo of your packaging. This can be really fun because it gives people an instant idea of how the item is going to look when it arrives. So, you know, if you wrap things really beautifully, show it off in your product photos so people will, you know, look at that and go, oh, that's really lovely as well. It also is a really good way and a really simple way of reinforcing your brand. So if your packaging is really well branded and your colors and style and stuff like that, it kind of feels like a bit of a gift to the person when they receive it. That's a really nice way of reinforcing that as well. So a packaging photo is a great idea to include. The 7th type of photo is a process photo. So there can be lots of ways you can do this. Probably the simplest way is just a generic photo of you in your studio making something. If you want to get real fancy, you can actually take a photo of you making the item that you're selling in that listing. Either your hands just making it if you're a bit shy about showing your face, or like a full shot from over your shoulder is a nice thing to do, showing, you know, the customer kind of from your perspective. Why is this a good idea? I think, especially in the handmade industry, it's a really nice way of instantly signaling to people, this is handmade, I'm a real person, I am actually making this stuff for you. It's not being made in a factory. So this is the environment where this thing is coming from. This is the person, these are the hands that have made the thing that you are buying. So it really helps to reinforce that connection between your customer and yourself. And if you've got a truly handmade business, i.e. you are making all of the things by hand, then that is a really good point of difference to really draw upon in your sales and your selling and your marketing. So that is a really lovely option to put in your product photos, is that process shot. And it gives people the sense of, I think it gives people a sense of vibrancy and a little bit of a connection with the process of making the product as well, which is really lovely. Okay, so let's recap. Number 1, studio or main image, plain background. Number 2, a scale image to give people an instant idea of how big or small the item is. Number 3 is a detail shot to show any pertinent details up close. Number 4 is a lifestyle and or model shot to show the item in its natural environment. Number 5 is a group shot showing either multiples of the same item, variations of the same item, or various items from your shop that all go together really well. Number 6 is packaging to show off, how lovely it's going to look when your item arrives, and also give people a sense of your branding. And number 7 is a process shot, either your hands or you making the item, to give people an immediate sense of that handmade element to the purchase. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found that useful. And if you want lots more on how to take really good product photos and learn all the tips and tricks, because goodness knows I sucked at it when I started. I've learned a lot and come a long way. Come and join us for that live workshop in the Thrivers Circle at the end of May 2020, or come and watch the recording of it over at the Thrivers Circle. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to my channel. I release usually 2 or 3 videos a month, and give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoyed this content. Also, feel free to comment below with any questions you have about what I've put in the video today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.